a hot cuppa and relax. It's Afternoon Karak with Aisha Al-Mazmi and Mikhail Atiyah.
On Pulse 95.
I guess you could say I'm having the sweaty case of the Mondays. Here, just need to wipe the sweat off my forehead so we can start the hour. Hopefully I'm looking good on the camera. And I'm loving these chairs, so comfortable. And boy, Aisha, this is some really good vibes.
Well, we had them yesterday, but somebody did not notice it.
Whoopsie.
Oopsies. Oopsies, but it's okay.
It's almost like, when you present sometimes, it's almost like autopilot. You just click the same hotkeys and you just roll with it,
I was listening to this Peaches by Justin Bieber, obviously. I was listening to it and I was like, even though I don't really have any feelings towards the song, like I don't love it, but I don't hate it. But then I realized the reason why I like it is because, just like you said, it just feels very vibey. It's very lo-fi,
just
which is
sort of like brush away the lyrics and just listen to that instrumental.
Like the lyrics aren't that bad. I mean, it kind of works. It's that whole vibe and whatnot, but the vibe is just perfect, to be honest. And it just works out with the afternoon Karak as usual.
Yes, we're at the studio. You already know the vibes. We're bustin'. Let's play Fortnite. Okay, maybe we're getting a little too vibey here.
A little too vibey. I feel like we're on the verge of taking a nap. That's how nice it feels. But guys, we're hoping you're not taking a nap on the wheel right now because we need you focused and driving in safe. And if you're tuning in right now through our YouTube, hello there. If you can see us, this is away from us. We are live streaming on YouTube as usual, Pulse 95 Radio. And also, we are live through Pulse95radio.com and also the Sharjah Broadcasting Authority's application. Scroll down and you will find us down there. What do we have today, Mikhail?
So, it was like a few days back when PlayStation's State of Play revealed 14-minute footage, gameplay footage of Horizon Forbidden West. Now, pretty great gameplay, but it seems that the internet is a little bit iffy about a particular detail, and it has to do with the character's face.
and honestly, I'm just... Goodness, gamers, are we going to have another intervention on the afternoon Karak about your behavior? Guys, come on.
Come on,
get
chill.
it together.
Lady Dimitrescu was a little bit much. I mean, this is going overboard now.
We're going to talk about that later. We also have a celebration because this is the 31st of May. And apparently, May was a celebration for a specific food. So before we send off May and welcome June, let's give a small homage to this very well-known and fan favorite dish, and perhaps we can revisit one of my pet peeves from a couple of episodes ago. Do you remember it?
I think once you bring it up, I will.
You definitely know it. You definitely remember it as well. We're also going to be talking about the Sinister Six because according to Sony's boss, he says that when the stars align and everything works out, they're going to have a Sinister Six movie, and it's just incredibly vague because we kind of nearly had a Sinister Six movie at least 3 times so far, and nothing worked out. But is it going to work out this time?
We have no idea. Charm, maybe.
Isn't it the 4th or 20th time by this time? So
there is Sam Raimi's, and then there is Mark Webb, and now this is Kevin Feige's Spider-Man.
There's Kevin Feige, and there's also something hinted in Venom. So there could be 3 or 4 attempts going on.
Guys, so many discussions. We want you to join in the conversation. Text us 4215 into Salons Urdu, or even join our live stream at Pulse 95 Radio. Only here on Pulse 95.
What's the date?
What's the date?
What's the date?
What are we celebrating today?
We are not only celebrating the end of the longest, I know it felt like the absolute longest month of our life, that is May. I cannot believe that we had Ramadan, Eid, came back to work.
Reading festival,
and May still did not end yet.
It won't give up.
It will not give up, but apparently it is coming to an end.
Imagine we wake up and then you check your phone and it's May 32nd.
What is it, Groundhog Day? I hope not, because that will be a nightmare.
A Twilight Zone situation.
A nightmare for a lot of people, because as much as I respect this month, can we move on and go to June, please? Because it is time for us to go on and move on to a different month, go on with our life halfway.
If you may.
Goodness. You know what?
Give me that clap. You know I earned it.
That was a good one. That was a really good one. But speaking about May. Apparently, May happened to be Burger Month or Hamburger Month, and we cannot let go of the month without one celebration at least. And I feel like Hamburger Month is, or Hamburger Day, or whatever you want to call it, is a good day to celebrate. And this brings me back to the cliff that I'm, what is it called? What is it, the saying again?
What is it, the cliff?
The hill, sorry. The hill I'm willing
that you're
to die
fighting
on.
Yes.
The hill I'm willing to die on. And that is double patties are unnecessary.
That is not a valid argument to make.
Is.
I'm sorry, but double patty is...
Yes, it is.
Sometimes you just need more meat. It's just not enough.
So make a big patty.
No.
Make it a normally
I need
sized...
double beef, double meat, double the trouble. All in a bun.
Goodness, no. That is just unnecessary. That's just extra for no reason.
Then the billion amount of Big Macs that are being sold across the world says otherwise.
No, but here's the thing. The reason why Big Macs are different because it's literally two burgers over each other. I'm talking about stacking two patties on top of each other. This is excessive, especially since you're paying extra for that patty when I could have gotten one big thick patty and would have been enough.
I don't know what you're talking about. I just feel...
You know I'm right, Mikhail. Think about it. Listen, you're paying extra. You're paying extra for the same thing that could have been avoided. Had it been one big, thick patty, it would have been done and halal.
Now, okay, if it's double meat, then it's... You probably have a bland taste, but if you have like all sorts of condiments, cheese, you're putting all sorts of really nice decorated
you don't need more
pieces
meat.
into the...
You don't need more meat.
You need more meat.
No, you don't. Because if it is, that means you put too much.
In celebration of Hamburger Month, and in spite of your argument, I'm gonna go get myself a double patty today.
I mean, you're the one who's paying extra for nothing. It's not my problem.
I'm paying extra to prove a point.
I mean,
and then when I take a bite of that, I'm going to say that was worth every penny.
No, it isn't. I'll add to it as well because you just said if you have lots of condiments, which I do, my burgers are not bland. Actually, I'm very anti just cheese and meat. There needs to be something that complements it. Sometimes you need lettuce, arugula, tomatoes, onions, grilled onions, a different sort of sauces. It just depends on the burger. So usually it needs to complement it. So when you add another patty, it means that there was something wrong with your formula. Your ratios were wrong. That's why you need to add an extra patty for it to work out and be balanced. So my point is, again, extra money when it shouldn't have. It needs to be extra money. And two, your formula is off. Your burger, your meat to vegetable and condiment ratio is completely off. Henceforth, you need an extra patty.
Listen, how do I put this?
Go ahead.
When somebody buys a burger, they're not looking at the balanced proportion of every piece of the burger. They just want to eat something delicious, something that's juicy, and just have a good time. And sometimes you feel if you get a double patty, you're gonna have double the fun, and it's just
You usually tend to do that when you know you're losing. Because
listen, let us dream. If I want to get a double patty, I'm sure I'm gonna do it.
I mean, do it. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I'm just saying it's a terrible idea, and it's like, why? Listen, I'm not against paying extra for food.
Okay.
Love food. You know that. I'm a big foodie. I will pay as much as I need to when it's worth it. But I feel like sometimes I'm getting scammed when I get an extra. When I ask, can I get an extra patty? Or they make me pay another 10, 15 dirhams. For what? You just give me a thicker patty from the beginning. وخلاص. And sometimes, if they're two big, thick patties, that's just too much meat. And then that's when the ratio goes off.
I see. So the solution to all of this is that, Aisha, I need to treat you out to a double patty burger.
No, I will not eat it. I cannot eat it. It's too much. It's unnecessary. It's
all right,
excessive.
More for me then. Happy Burger Month. Better celebrate it because this is the last day for it.
Yes, and it's a good day to celebrate burgers, all kinds of them. And I have another question for you.
Okay.
Now, this is a pet peeve now. I know that I believe in the States, the entire world, and I believe we spoke about this before.
Yeah.
The entire world agrees that if anything that looks like a patty, whether it's fish, it's chicken, it's beef, whatever it is, it's a burger. That's what makes it a burger, right?
Ooh.
When it's a patty.
I see what you mean, yeah.
However, Americans, for some reason, they believe that if it's chicken, suddenly it's a chicken sandwich. And it feels wrong. A sandwich is the bread is different. If it's
Yeah.
a circle and it's a patty, as in it's minced meat, whether again it's minced fish or even if it's just a chicken breast, as long as it's in that burger
Yeah.
shape and it's like that, then it's a burger.
I think it's the stigma of burger is always associated to beef, and so if you're gonna put another different meat, you gotta call it something else, like a chicken sandwich or a fish fillet. They just call it fish fillet, you know.
That's which is honestly just so confusing. So, American.
I do agree with you on that.
Yeah.
People don't put too much thought into those labelings. They feel they need to differentiate these labels. But I don't know. I can't really think
It's
of
a burger.
different way to call a chicken sandwich a chicken sandwich.
It's a chicken burger. A chicken sandwich comes in a different type of loaf of bread. It's not the circular bread.
Okay.
It just feels very
Over here we
wrong.
call it zingers, so we're pretty good.
No, zingers are even different. Like it's a specific type of chicken, right?
yeah.
It shouldn't like I can't give you like a chicken breast sandwich and be like, here's a zinger. You're gonna like glare at me and be like,
It's like, that's fried. I
That's-
wanted something
that is not what
probably
it's
grilled.
exactly the other way around. Zingers are fried.
Zingers are fried.
If I give you a grilled chicken, then you're
Then-
like, that is not a zinger.
Yeah, that's just a chicken sandwich.
That's
No.
a chicken sandwich.
Chicken sandwich, chicken burger. Oh my God, I'm gonna.
See, anyway, guys, this is a celebration. Go ahead and celebrate Burger Day or Burger Month and tell us how you're celebrating it. Tell us your pet peeves about burgers. Tell us everything you love inside a burger. What are your no-nos and what are your must-haves?
Yes. And if you're a burger joint tuning in, wouldn't mind if you guys send it down here to SBA. I'm a little hungry.
Mikhail,
and
just go get your burger yourself.
I will.
Fellas.
I just
This-
thought, if I could throw a freebie in there, might as well. It's
You're
worth a
not
shot.
gonna get that. It's okay. I mean, what happened to I'm willing to pay for it?
I'm willing to give you a shout out.
Oh wow.
This
Wow.
burger is sponsored by, I'm sure that would sound very nice, huh? For a free burger. Anyway,
You can see Mikhail is very fickle with
I'm a
his-
little shameless.
He's very shameless, not a little. But we move on to our next story. Coming right up next, right here on the Afternoon Karak. We're going to be talking about several things. One of them being the Sinister Six movie. Is it in the making or is it not? And Netflix revealing its 10 most watched original movies of the year. Coming right up next, right here on the Afternoon Karak.
Pulse 95.
So the Sinister Six movie, is it happening? Is it not happening? It's been in like an ongoing conversation we've been having, whether, even before the Afternoon Karak was
Yeah.
ever made. It's always been in the horizon, but nothing ever happens. Nothing ever comes to fruition.
It always feels like it falls short. So, for example, Sam Raimi, a little fun fact, he was supposed to make Spider-Man 4, and it was supposed to feature the return of Sandman as well as Mysterio. But that never really came to fruition, and so there was never a Spider-Man 4. Then Sony rebooted again with The Amazing Spider-Man, directed by Mark Webb. And by the second movie from that series, there was already like post-credit scene reveals of a Sinister Six ensemble of some kind.
Yeah.
And then that got shuffled out, and so now Sony is tying with Marvel with
Kind of,
with Tom
because-
Holland's Spider-Man, and then part of Spider-Man's universe is just self-contained in Sony's new films, such as Venom and the sequel that's coming out, as well as Morbius, and so Craven the Hunter. So it seems like a lot of fans are asking, when are we going to get this Sinister Six? Is it going to connect to MCU in some kind of way? And Sony, straight up, the Sony boss just said, listen, guys, it's going to be ready when it's ready.
Goodness.
I think they know more than anything how much they've had to go through years and years of building up to trying to build up to the Sinister Six, and then all of it just falling apart. So this time it's almost like they're being a little bit more delicate this time. They want to make sure it comes out when it's ready.
They've been kind of delicate since day one, since Sam Raimi's version of Spider-Man. Otherwise, they would have greenlit it all the way back then. And according to Sanford Panich, the president of Sony Pictures Motion Picture Group, says that, just like you said, they're not ready until they're ready, which is incredibly vague. And he just gives an example of Craven the Hunter, which apparently could have been made a good 3+ years ago. But then they just waited and waited and waited. And I think the reason why he's saying it is obviously he doesn't want to give off too much, because it's like Mikhail said, we're not really sure what's happening within the Spider-Man/Sony universe. What is going on there? Because are they connected with the MCU? Are they not connected with the MCU? Because we kind of saw the Vulture in Morbius, and Morbius has been pushed back further now until next year.
So that question still lingers in our minds.
Exactly, and the Vulture is, we'd say, like one of the most important parts of the Sinister Six, and we don't have a Green Goblin. Are we gonna get a Green Goblin at some point?
We have to.
As well?
We have to see that Spider-Man multiverse because
Exactly.
we know it's kind of like this worst-kept secret at this point that there is gonna be returning villains from previous films that are coming in. But are they gonna continue onwards after that multiverse fiasco? Who knows? But I think Sony is taking notes from Marvel themselves. They know that if you want to create a really meaningful ensemble, one like the Sinister Six, you gotta take the time to set it up. There's gonna be a couple of movies, couple of standalone films. Example, Kraven the Hunter, Morbius, until we can finally get to that dream team, that dream villain team.
They obviously learned their lesson from Justice League as well, which is often used as an example to tell people that sometimes some
Just
things are
don't
too rushed.
Don't rush it.
They make no sense without some backstory. Even though like the Avengers did not give every single character in that ensemble a standalone movie until later. I mean, we've got
Now
Black
it's a
Widow.
mess, yeah.
We're getting Black Widow right now, but it just means that they still managed to set it up perfectly in a way that makes sense. So I think maybe Sony's doing that, especially since when he was directly asked about Sinister Six, he laughed and said, "It would be very cool, wouldn't it?" And I'm like, goodness.
What do you know? Tell me.
Do you know that meme? Well, then keep your secrets.
Yes.
That's like, okay, then keep your secrets. I'm going to be patient and wait. But you don't need to wait for too long because coming right up next is our story about none other than Netflix's best and top 10 most watched original movies of the past year. Coming right up next, right here on the Afternoon Karak.
This is Pulse 95.
I believe it was around this time last year that we were talking about Extraction, and apparently, according to a recent list from Netflix, it had 99 million views, making it the most watched Netflix original movie ever.
Now that's pretty big, and Netflix has been on this roadmap of just pumping so much content on their platform. One of the promises they've made is that they're gonna pull out a movie every week. And honestly, if we only had all the time in the world to review every single one of them, but from the list we've seen here, I think we've reviewed quite a bit of them. Extraction is one of them. We did Enola Holmes, Project Power.
Yes.
And tomorrow we're gonna review Army of the Dead.
Yes, we did not forget it. We did promise you a review of that movie. We're going to give it to you guys. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about. But some of the other movies, like The Old Guard and Bird Box, like they're not a surprise that they're up there on the list.
Bird Box is, how do I say it? It's a gimmicky film. Was riding off the waves of other horror movies.
It's based on a book, Mikhail.
I know it's based on a book.
It's based on a book, and the book was there way before those horror movies.
Still feels like a trendy film.
Honestly, I'll tell you what. The thing is, the reason why it feels trendy is because a lot of people watched it and they were talking about it.
Well, I think that's part of it, but also because A Quiet Place came out, and they're like, oh, let's just do something similar to Quiet.
Mikhail, the book came out before A Quiet Place. So that still is not valid criticism because, again, the book was there. They used the book as a trajectory for the entire movie. It's completely based on the book.
I see what you mean. Now, from looking at this list, majority of the films are
action.
They're action flicks. Some of them are a bit subpar. I'd say Bird Box and Six Underground and Murder Mystery are below average.
The thing
films.
is, Mikhail, it's less about it being a crazy sort of I don't think that needs to be very deep for anybody to enjoy it, and that's what something we realize as we watch more and more movies and review more and more movies. I mean, when we were talking about what was the last thing that I gave a 9 out of 10 for just because I enjoyed it. It was
Thunder Force.
No,
you
Thunder
gave
Force.
it an 8.
That was 8. That was fun.
Unfortunately.
No, that's different. That is different. Guys, check out our review of it. That was a lot of fun. The look on Mikhail's face when I said it was an 8 out of 10 was just amazing.
Still hurts.
But talking about goodness, Jupiter's Legacy.
Yeah.
And even though Jupiter's Legacy, a lot of people, for some reason, did not enjoy it. And I know that there are some gaping issues with it, but it was still enjoyable. I still recommend it to people. And I keep telling people that I know that you will find problems with it, but there's something about it that just makes it incredibly intriguing, and lots of like, this feels very entertaining to me, and it grabbed me in an instant. And I think this is what those movies did. Either they were somewhat overly promoted, or people kept on talking about them, intrigued people, and then they would watch and then like, this sucks. And then it was a whole cycle. Or just like what happened with me with Jupiter's Legacy, it's just like, oh, this is nice, this is fun, I enjoy it. And I believe like some of those movies were like that, like Extraction. I think we did not give it a really good score because there were some issues with it, but it was still enjoyable.
You're right. Just this top 10 film list from Netflix proves the universal appeal that these kind of films can bring for audience across the world. And I hope that Netflix can continue to make really great film projects and series projects that really deserve the viewership, because they have also a tendency of just cutting seasons, like just canceling shows on the go. Unfortunately, Black Mirror, I am still waiting.
I mean, a lot of people are waiting for a lot of movies and TV shows that kept on getting canceled or swept under the rug because they're not being marketed properly by Netflix.
Thank you, Netflix.
But at least because I have a personal vendetta against Martin Scorsese, this means that his movie The Irishman is no longer the 6th most watched movie on Netflix. I'm really sorry. I just get annoyed by him sometimes. He's a cool guy, I understand. He's a great director. But goodness, I just wish that sometimes I could just calm down, he's an old guy, just take a chill pill, just everybody needs to chill and vibe with us right here on the afternoon Karak. And we're gonna move on to our second half of the show after the sports headlines, coming right up next right here, starting with a rumor, another one from Square Enix, but also Guardians of the Galaxy, coming right up next right here on the afternoon Karak.
Speculation, gossip, or hoax. Rumor has it.
Square Enix came out last year with the Marvel's Avengers. It was supposed to be this ultimate cooperative online experience where you get to play your favorite superheroes. But it was really brought down by the fact that it was a live service. And, once you play the campaign, there isn't much else to do. And the player base has sort of died out, and there's really no one really playing it. There's a few updates here and there, but it's pretty much dead at this point. However, it seems like Square Enix is going to be dipping their toes again by actually, rumor has it, to develop a Guardians of the Galaxy video game.
It is interesting because Square Enix is super busy. We spoke yesterday about another rumor concerning them, that they are probably going to be announcing a very interesting take on the Final Fantasy series or franchise with a spin-off series that's going to be very RPG action-based, including the already announced Final Fantasy 16. So they're very, very busy, to say the least. So it is very interesting that they're going to be tipping their toes into the world of Marvel again, especially just like Mikhail said. There hasn't been that good of a reception for their current Marvel game. I think the only thing that's keeping that game alive has been just the new characters that keep on being introduced. Like, kind of like, here's a new character, you might want to play it, and then they play it and people are like, no, we're still bored. It doesn't have that oomph that makes you want to continue playing that game. However, honestly, I'm going to be a little bit optimistic. We just need to wait and see what type of game this game is going to be, because there isn't much about it, because only a rumor.
Yeah. And
this rumor comes from a YouTuber called Jeff Grubbs, who has a channel or a series called Game Mess. And, again, we have no idea. He could be correct or could be wrong.
Yeah, it's one rumor that the more I explore it, the more I'm like, I I can see how they can go about making something like this.
Yeah.
And it has potential to be really fun. You know, this is the Guardians of the Galaxy. This is like a cooperative ensemble team you can use to traverse across the galaxy. I just hope it's not as linear and as boring and repetitive as Marvel's Avengers.
Yeah.
And games like this, I think I hope that they learned the hard way. Don't make a property like as big as Marvel into a live service. It's just not gonna work. So,
or it could if it just did it better. Because I feel like they kind of messed up some things in between that they were kind of hyping it up, and then people had, you know, when somebody just hypes up something as in it's the best game out there, they give you the trailers, the cinematic trailers, and then you have the experience, and it is subpar.
underwhelming, you could say.
Exactly. So we just need to just wait and see. As usual, that is a motto of the afternoon Karak, aka the Magic Hour, that continues with another story. This one, we're going to be moving on to our gaming intervention because we are tired of the gamers. We are part of the gaming community. But here we are once again talking about how everybody apparently is super angry that Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn or the upcoming game Horizon Forbidden West doesn't have makeup on. Goodness, coming right up next, right here on the Afternoon Karak.
Rumor has it. Rumor has it.
Pulse 95.
It's not every day we get a reveal from PlayStation, especially for their biggest exclusive for this year, the Horizon Forbidden West. And finally, us fans and players alike have been treated to a 14-minute gameplay footage. And, you know, for me, I look at a lot of the detail, the graphics, the new gameplay mechanics, and where the story could go next. But it seems there's some people on the internet who are looking a little bit too closely on something that is very unnecessary.
Yes, now if you have put the pictures of the main character side by side, you notice that they made some, in my opinion, are minor changes.
Yeah.
And she just looks a little bit more human, especially.
She has a natural look to her.
Exactly. She looks like an actual person. I can walk out on the street and probably see somebody who looks similar to her, if not exactly like her. It makes her more human. It makes her more like people can see themselves through her, literally, physically. And also, if you look into the difference between the graphics of the PS4 and the PS5, it is necessary that they take those kind of decisions to have those kind of changes. And if you're upset about it, that is okay. But is it required that you get really angry on the internet and start yelling on the internet?
No, not really. But I will say some of the memes are quite funny. So ever since people got to see the difference between Aloy and how she looks like. So this is her from PS4 and now this is PS5. And she does look, you know, she's got bigger cheeks. She has a more natural look. And then here's the memes.
Aw, that's kind of mean.
And the joke is that, she got fat.
That's very
Come on, that's a little too much.
That's too
honestly.
much. Goodness.
Jeez.
Gamer community out there. We cannot have an intervention every single week about the behavior that's happening on the internet. This is ridiculous. And there was another person who got told off by a lot of people on Twitter who suggested, or at least gave a picture, like an edited picture of Aloy, and she just happens to look like an IG model. And there's nothing against IG models, you know, you do you, they're gorgeous. But also, those are very specific kind of pictures for a specific kind of platform.
It doesn't fit the context of the character and where she is, where she's in. A post-apocalyptic future. I mean, she wouldn't look like that.
Exactly. Especially since, if you think about it, in a post-apocalyptic setting, you need somebody to be strong, obviously. So she's probably, you know, eating more, moving a lot more. So she's obviously going to bulk up in some certain areas.
Yeah.
That's just a normal response to the
She's built
human body.
different.
She's built different. She's amazing as well. She's exciting.
Yeah.
You guys just be excited about the game. And stop arguing about unnecessary things. You're giving us a bad name. It's already bad enough that all our parents believe that video games are the reason everything has happened in the world. Do we need to make it worse, guys? No. Stop
No, not
arguing.
really.
Stop arguing.
I feel, guys, just enjoy the fact that we're getting a game like this. Aloy is an inspiration to a lot of people out there,
Yeah.
cosplayers alike, people who talk about playing the game and playing her. They relate to her on a personal level. I personally love Aloy as well. She's a great mascot for PlayStation. So I don't know. I just don't mistreat it this way.
And also be
It's not
nice.
necessary.
Be nice. Those are a lot of people, just like Mikhail said, who have worked really hard on this character, on this game, and they're seeing your unnecessary arguments on the internet. I'm not saying do not give commentary when it's necessary, but again, when it's necessary and not because, oh my God, can't believe she looks more human. Goodness, how dare she?
It's just it's a little bit of a touch up. It's a little bit of a change in design.
Guys, come on.
I think we can all live with that.
We can all live with that. And again, look at the way they've been working with all the other graphics. They're just beautiful. Everything about that game is exciting and actually hypes me up for getting a PS5, perhaps even pushing my, when I said I'm going to push it for maybe a year or two, maybe I'm going to be getting a PS5 maybe a little bit sooner than I thought, just for this game. Inshallah. Coming up next, we're going to go back to Netflix and a prequel for the Army of the Dead. They're going to be talking about a certain character, a fan favorite, including a favorite of mine, coming right up next, right here on the Afternoon Karak.
You're listening to Pulse 95.
We just spoke about Netflix's most watched original movies that the Netflix just released in the list, and Army of the Dead was tied actually in last place at 10. And it's not that bad because obviously the other movies had a longer running time before, they reach those places. So it could easily actually go up the ranks within the next couple of weeks. So maybe next year it might be the 7th, 6th, 5th most watched movie. And perhaps there's another contender, and that just happens to be a prequel in the making for Netflix called Army of Thieves that will revolve around one of my favorite characters of the movie, Dieter.
This guy, an absolute blast to watch. He is like a safecracker in the Army of the Dead. He has this almost like cartoonish German accent to himself, and the obsession of unlocking the impossible. And you just love this guy as he gets, he just tags along with the gang, and his obsession and his fantasy about the safe, and apparently his I would say like vast knowledge of the people who created such a safe like that. It's interesting to see him. He really stands out from the crowd, and they weren't kidding when they said that. Yeah, they're gonna really expand the universe of the Army of the Dead. Zack Snyder, in a way, also hinted that there could be a sequel in sometime in the future. But I'm also surprised that it's so soon that we get an confirmed announcement for a prequel for this film.
And apparently there's going to be an anime kind of prequel as well. So
oh wow, Netflix is just doubling down on this.
Yes, they're going crazy with the franchise. And reportedly, Army of Thieves will be sort of a romantic comedy with a few zombies, according to the producer, Deborah Snyder. And it's going to also star, he's going to star opposite Nathalie Emmanuel, who will play Gwendoline. And if you remember, the name of his, of the actual shop that he runs is Gwendoline Safe and Lock Co.
Oh, so they already set it up.
Yeah, they already kind of set it up before,
cool.
So we just need to wait and see. I'm excited. This Wei was absolutely one of my favorite characters in the actual movie. I love two of them.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't watched it, we urge you to watch it, especially since tomorrow is going to be our review of the movie. Coming up next is our finale of the hour, and that is Aisha and Mikhail Suggest. Stay tuned for that and so much more right here on the Afternoon Karak.
It's almost 5 p.m.
That was Afternoon Karak. For dessert,
Aisha and Mikhail suggest.
From rumors to celebrations and discussions in between. If you missed out on anything for this hour, you can always check up later on our YouTube channel. Yes, we have a YouTube channel. If you want to support us, you can support us by subscribing to Pulse 95 Radio, or you can tune into our podcast that gets uploaded on the daily at Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, on Rami. Just type in Afternoon Karak and you're good to go. But we got to leave you guys with a final suggestion, and this time it comes from Aisha Masman.
You know what? I decided I'm going to change my suggestion.
Okay.
And since today is the 31st of May and we were celebrating the end of it with the month of hamburgers, I believe that, my suggestion should be go get a burger.
I think that's a great suggestion.
That's a very simple suggestion.
Get a double patty.
Goodness. Goodness.
Oh, yeah, hey, I'm just saying, some people like it single, some people like it double, and some like it triple.
Goodness, that is incredibly excessive. I mean, you do you, but again, if you missed out on my whole rant on, actually, it was straight up an argument between Mikhail and I about why double patties, at least
And
from my
usually,
opinion.
you see, the thing is, usually our arguments never end. They just continue throughout the episodes of our show.
And this isn't something, this is the first time I'm speaking about. I spoke about it on Double Cheeseburger Day. Do you remember that?
I do remember this.
Now we're going to continue it. And honestly, whenever this comes up, I'm just trying to convince Mikhail that even though, I'm not against them, but come on, they're excessive sometimes. Just believe me. Just sometimes they're too much. As usual, text us 4215 Salat, or we'd love to hear from you, or comment on our video when it gets uploaded on our YouTube channel, Pulse 95 Radio. And with that, we make our farewell. We lay the red carpet for none other the great Yalla Home hosts that are Big Cass and Anna Schofield. They're going to be taking over starting from 5 p.m. all the way till 8 p.m. And we're going to continue tomorrow. Same time, same vibes, only here on Pulse 95.
If you liked this episode of Afternoon Karak, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.
Pulse